Hello and welcome back to another United Devils watch-along. As those of you who were watching the game earlier this week on Monday will know, Manchester United drew at home to Southampton after a late equaliser from Martin Obafemi and missed the chance to go third place after Chelsea and Leicester dropped points at the weekend. They now must travel to Crystal Palace and Selhurst Park in order to get a crucial 3 points, as both Chelsea and Leicester have already won this game week. Chelsea obviously winning 1-0 at home to Norwich City, and Leicester just maybe 20 minutes ago winning 2-0 at home to Sheffield United. Of course, there are still 2 more games left to play for each team, but Manchester United have this chance to keep in the running because they know that a loss or a draw could send them in a lot of trouble in the race for top 4. They will be happy to know that United are they have won their last 3 trips to Selhurst Park and have not lost to Crystal Palace on this ground in Premier League history. However, they did lose at Old Trafford earlier in the season, the 3rd game of the season, which is their first defeat in Premier League history against Crystal Palace. So, Palace will be looking to do their first ever double over Manchester United in this game. Of course, Palace are on 11 wins, 9 draws and 15 defeats this season. They haven't won in their last 5 games and are looking to be on a downward spiral. But they do tend to bring it for the big games. In their lineup, they have made a few changes. Vicente Guaita is starting again in goal with his 10 clean sheets for the season and making some crucial saves during that time. Joel Ward, of course, played against United in the FA Cup final in 2016 and was on the losing side, but has been Crystal Palace's starting right back since Wan-Bissaka left for United last summer. Scott Dan's come in to make his 14th appearance of the season, being second fiddle to Gary Cahill for the majority of it, and Sakho has also maintained his starting position despite making some errors against Chelsea and Aston Villa in Palace's last 2 games. Patrick Van Aanholt obviously scored against United at Old Trafford, scored the winner, and is playing again and will be looking to cause problems on the counter. Luka Mijovic, James McArthur and James McCarthy are the 3 midfielders, and they are relatively defensive midfielders, not any with any puncture really, but Milivojevic is a set-piece maestro, and McArthur did score against United in 2016 in a 2-1 defeat. Andros Townsend and Wilfred Zaha are the wingers. They have a combined goals and assists of 5 goals and 4 assists in the Premier League, and is obviously one of the main reasons Palace have struggled to score goals this season. Jordan Ayew is their top goal scorer with 9 goals and scored the opener at Old Trafford and will be looking to continue his good form for Palace. On the bench for Palace, there are not many options really. They have obviously the goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy, Schlupp, Kelly, Sam Woods and Tyrick Mitchell are defensive options, but Schlupp can also play in midfield. Maya is the real attacking midfield option, with Kouyaté and Riedewald being more defensive options, and Brandon Pierrick is the only striker available for Roy Hodgson, with Christian Benteke sent off at the end of the Villa defeat. For Manchester United, there are 2 changes to the side that drew to Southampton. David De Gea remains in goal, making his 401st appearance. Aaron Wan-Bissaka makes his 75th appearance and his first back at Selhurst Park since leaving in the summer. Victor Lindelof has made his most appearances in a season with 33 in the Premier League and is his 80th overall. Maguire continues despite potentially being heavily criticised for the equaliser, and Tim Fosu-Mensah makes a rare start in the Premier League, his first start since 2017. Scott McTominay makes his first start since the Spurs game, having been kept out of the lineup by Nemanja Matic for the last 5 in the Premier League. Paul Pogba retains his position despite being substituted off after 66 minutes. Fernandes, Greenwood, Rashford and Martial all remain in the lineup, despite Greenwood potentially missing out due to a swollen ankle from a potential red card challenge again from Oriol Romeu. On the bench, there are 3 changes. Dalot comes in for the injured Brandon Williams. Matic swaps with McTominay for the bench. And Lingard comes in for Andreas Pereira, which is a surprise. But other than that, Romero, Bailly, Fred, Mata, James and Ighalo remain as the bench options for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should it come to that. And the teams are already ready to get the game going, but will of course take the knee in protest of racism across the world. And Palace will be, of course, wearing their home kit. United wearing their snakeskin kit this time round, and United get us off and running with Pogba to Fosu-Mensah to Maguire and Lindelof. Palace pressing heavily from the start. Obviously something that worked for Southampton in the game, but McTominay's found a nice pass to Greenwood, who couldn't quite control it, and Palace have it back with Milivojevic and Van Aanholt. And Ayew, United being very solid, but Joel Ward's got a lot of space on the right-hand side, but no one can find him. It is instead MacArthur, back to Van Aanholt. Zaha finds a nice pass to Joel Ward, but he can't get it under control. It will be United throw. But looks early on that United are going to be wary of the Palace attack and the high press, and will clear if they need to, and are happy to sit in a solid shape while Palace are attacking. Tim Fosu-Mensah obviously operating as the left back, I forgot to mention, because both Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams were injured in the Southampton game, reducing United to 10 men as a result. And of course, it has not made an appearance for United, like I said, since Jose Mourinho's first season at the club, obviously having loans against Palace and Fulham. But now there's a chance for Zaha, and it's a great save from David De Gea. Out of nothing, really, Zaha got the ball and just drove through the United midfield and had a good opportunity to open the scoring early on. But a great save from David De Gea. Zaha cuts back, Wan-Bissaka lets him on it, and it's a quick shot, but De Gea beats it away. You have to say relatively comfortably, but could have been caught off guard. Lively start. And it's now Lindelof trying to hit it long for Martial, but instead finds Van Aanholt. Back from McCarthy to, I think, Scott Dan. Guaita hits a long pass towards Townsend, but Fosu-Mensah does well in the air. Of course, Fosu-Mensah did play in that Palace team that started so poorly in the 2017-18 season. And then after not really settling down, he played for Fulham, but was frozen out of the team by the various managers that managed Fulham at the time, and returned to United this season, but has only been in training after a long-term injury until now. But United playing it short, happy to play out from the back despite some issues being caused in the first game. In fact, it actually gave away the lead. Gave away the opening goal in that match to Stuart Armstrong. But Maguire's found a nice pass to Fosu-Mensah, who's found Martial. Obviously knows Fosu-Mensah very well during his time under Van Gaal. Actually got an assist for Martial in a 1-0 win against Everton when he was playing as right back. But for the moment, it is Victor Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka. Fernandes, of course, continued his good form for United with another assist against Southampton, but was taken off when United were looking to shore things up. But Rashford now. Pogba. Nice long pass to try and find Wan-Bissaka, and has done very nicely. Looks to get past Van Aanholt, but the Dutch defender does well, but concedes the throw. McTominay loses out, and Zaha could be on the counter. It is just him alone, but against Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka coming back. Pogba looking to track his former teammate, but nothing done. And MacArthur kicks it against Greenwood for a throw to Palace on Palace's left-hand side. And it will be Zaha playing as a left winger today and Townsend on the right. So it'll be interesting to see how Fosu-Mensah deals with that problem, and has dealt with this problem very well. Dangerous cross in, he's cleared it out with his right foot, and found Martial actually very well, who looked to get past McCarthy and was fouled. And the referee today, Graham Scott, has given that Manchester United's way. Good strength from Martial, and he was just barged aside by McCarthy relatively clumsily. McCarthy, who has obviously had his injury problems throughout his career, especially at Everton, which has annoyed former assistant manager Roy Keane for Ireland, and but for Palace he's stayed fit all season. He's made 31 appearances so far, and will be looking to prevent any long-term injuries from occurring soon and get his best form back in him. But for the moment, United happy to just play keep ball, just playing it along the back four. Now Pogba looks to change things up, finds Wan-Bissaka. No options for Wan-Bissaka really. Could only find Lindelof back, but now Fernandes has come deeper and actually lost possession to Ayew, and Ayew looking to get past Fernandes and find Zaha instead, who was not fouled by Pogba despite arms on him. Ward now found on the right hand side, looked to play it into Townsend, but Fosu-Mensah has done very well, but has lost it instead. It's poor, and Ward can whip in across. It's a deep one to the back post. He's found McCarthy. Now Zaha. It's defended well by Fernandes, but hit by Van Aanholt, and it's blocked. And now Rashford and Fosu-Mensah. Martial looking to clear it. Couldn't find Greenwood. It's back with Palace. McCarthy to MacArthur to Zaha. Van Aanholt. United looking a bit nervy at the back. MacArthur again on the right hand. United's right, headed out by Lindelof as far as Pogba, but McTominay's prevented that from being a dangerous option, and Pogba can look to bring United forward, but he's being harassed by MacArthur all the way and was fouled, and United could breathe. But it's similar patterns to what we were seeing against Aston Villa and against Southampton, and to be fair, against Norwich as well. But United are looking the more nervy side, and Palace looking the more dangerous. They've had opportunities. That Van Aanholt shot, I think, is blocked by Lindelof very well. But Fosu-Mensah looked a little rusty. He won the ball back well and then lost possession after that. So he'll have to be adapting to that game, because obviously he's not used to playing as a left back. He's mostly been playing as a centre half and a anchor and a right back really. So this is a whole new playing ground for him. But it's Maguire now. Back to Lindelof. Palace in a rather robust shape, as you would expect, of course. McTominay, though, acting as the anchor in that midfield, but obviously more than happy to drive forwards using his strength and technique on the ball. Maguire now looks for a long pass to Wan-Bissaka, finds him, but no movement ahead, and he instead plays it to Pogba, who hits it straight at MacArthur, who finds Zaha. And Palace could be on the break. If Ayew can get there, he can't, because Lindelof does very well and can play it back to David De Gea. This could be a problem, because Palace are really happy to counter in the pace and brilliance they really have in attack. The front three, obviously Townsend, Ayew and Zaha are brilliant players, really smart, and they link up very well. So that could cause problems for United on the counter if they try and pile numbers forward. But for the moment, United have possession with Greenwood, but Milivojevic does well and plays it back. And then MacArthur, but he gives it away to McCarthy. Might have won the ball back, and he's found Zaha now, looking to get past Lindelof. It's a deflection into the path of Ayew. McTominay has dealt with that very well, and Fernandes looks to find Martial, but the pass wasn't there, and Sakho has defended well, but Fosu-Mensah is looking to bring things forward and finds Rashford, but he's gone central, looking for any options ahead of him, finds Wan-Bissaka horizontally, but there's no real options ahead. Palace defending very well, but Fernandes link up with Pogba to Rashford centrally, feeding Wan-Bissaka, who puts in a ball and it's hit the first man, but goes out for a corner. And United can get their first corner of the game and maybe get the first goal of the game. We have the heights in there with McTominay and Pogba and Maguire, Lindelof, Martial and Rashford also can cause problems from corners. But the deliveries have been an issue over the last few games, really. And Fernandes, who I think is taking the corner, will have to improve on that. And it will be Fernandes with an outswinging corner, looking for Maguire. And it looked like it hit Maguire, but deflected off a few Palace players, and Jordan Ayew can clear. Up towards Zaha, but Fosu-Mensah has won that header, but it's a long pass to try and find Townsend. De Gea has come out quickly and cleared, but only as far as Joel Ward. However, Maguire can win the header with no one actually there to meet it for Palace. Rashford now finding Martial down the left-hand channel, looking to get past Dan, and in fact wins a corner on the other side. I want to see how that actually works. So it does actually go at Maguire, but he's heading it the complete wrong direction. Doesn't see it because I think Sakho's blocking his sight of the ball, and he hits it pretty much sideways. But another option, another chance. The delivery was good from Fernandes that time. Let's see if it's good from the other side. In swinging this time. And Fernandes takes it. Scoop towards the back post. And he does get the ball, Maguire, but it's ballooned over. Good cross from Fernandes. They've been working on that. And Maguire, towering over Sakho, just cannot get it down because I think it hits the top of his head. Yeah, it hits the top of his head, and it's never going to be a goal. But United can cause problems, and now Sakho looking to play out from the back, but in fact finds McTominay and now Greenwood. But Milivojevic does well to read that. Guaita now hits it long. It's Lindelof winning the ball and finding Pogba and McTominay now. Lindelof to Maguire. But Lindelof and Maguire just really not happy to take risks in a long pass yet. And it plays it to Wan-Bissaka, and it gives out a throw-in, which is taken shortly by Palace. And they're looking to get Jordan Ayew in, but the pass was overhit, and United will have a throw deep on their right-hand side. And, of course, Jordan Ayew is going to be one of Palace's big danger men. And it is going to be... they are going to be looking to get him and Zaha on the ball as much as possible. But they know that they do have Van Aanholt and Townsend, of course, who can chip in with goals. McCarthy, MacArthur and Milivojevic maybe not so much, which is probably one of the bigger problems that Palace have had this season, their lack of goals from anyone but Ayew. It is now Patrick Van Aanholt, though, on the ball, but McTominay does well defensively, and... can't see who that is. I think that's Greenwood, who's found a long pass towards Rashford. He's got Joel Ward for him, but Guaita's read that well and cleared it long. Fosu-Mensah's won that ball in the air. It's, I think, Scott Dan now, looking for a long pass towards Zaha, but Maguire heads out, finds Pogba. McTominay can get that under control and shifts the play to Wan-Bissaka. Have fond memories of this stadium, and Fernandes hits a long pass towards Rashford, and it's juggled by Joel Ward for a bit and can't win the ball. Pogba's missed his touch, but Fosu-Mensah's won that off Townsend, but lost the possession straight away, and Zaha's found MacArthur on the Palace left, and he's looking to get past Wan-Bissaka. Can't get past Fernandes though, and Van Aanholt is there. It's now McCarthy to Ward on the right-hand side. Back to McCarthy. Milivojevic looking for a long pass towards Joel Ward, but it's overhit, and it will be a goal kick to United. It's been a bit scrappy in the midfield. Palace have looked probably the better. They've had the better chances. They've had chances. United obviously having those two corners, both connecting with Maguire's head, but none really troubling the goalkeeper or, in fact, the defence at all, really. But United do need to wake up because they have obviously conceded in their last. They conceded first in their last game, and they'll want to get off to a better start this time round. And playing it short from the back, it's now Pogba on the ball, looking for the long pass to Wan-Bissaka, finds him quite effortlessly. Greenwood to Wan-Bissaka. Doesn't have many options again. It's Lindelof to Pogba. And Maguire. Fosu-Mensah. And Maguire again. No long passes available, so he's back to Lindelof. And then back to Maguire. Then it's Fernandes looking for the reverse pass into Rashford, but it's pounced on by Townsend. But United will still get the throw. It's Fosu-Mensah. No real options again, but he's found a good pass to Rashford, but the touch was poor and McCarthy hits it at him, and so Guaita can collect. It'll be important for United to prevent Palace from getting any momentum in this game, but Van Aanholt has found a nice through ball to Zaha down the right-hand side, or United's right, but he slipped, but managed to keep the ball very well and almost found a dangerous pass to Van Aanholt, but in fact McTominay deflects it onto the Dutch player, and De Gea can catch and now hits it long towards Greenwood, who's flicked it on towards Martial, but Dan's done well, but in fact he's actually given that away and Greenwood could pounce on it, but would seem he's not kept it out. Just around the Premier League, might be helpful for those with fantasy football or something, but Brighton have scored against Southampton. Neil Maupay opening the scoring for them, 16 minutes played for them. But for the moment here, it's still goalless, and Palace looking to drive up the pitch with Joel Ward linking up with Townsend. Now Townsend looking to get past Pogba, but he can't find the pass towards Fosu-Mensah. He can't find, he can't find the pass towards Scott Dan, and has in fact been fouled by Paul Pogba, and it could be a dangerous free kick for Palace. Looked like a fair challenge, actually. Let's have a look. He's not, actually. He's just eased him out. It's not a foul, really, and but Palace still have a dangerous opportunity. Looks like it will be Townsend on the ball, trying to whip it in with his left foot. It's an odd angle, but we'll have to see whether this can cause United problems. Obviously, they did concede from a late set piece in the Southampton game, but it will be Townsend now. It's a deep cross towards the back post. It's headed up well, but only as far as Van Aanholt on the edge of the box. Milivojevic. Now McCarthy. Wide back to Townsend. Martial marking him for the moment. Looks for a nibble. Puts a deep cross into the back post. It goes to MacArthur, but he can't connect with it first time round. He has the ball still, though. And Milivojevic looks for a pass into the box towards Scott Dan, but David De Gea can read that quite easily and collect without any problems. And it could have been a problem because it does go through Maguire's legs, actually, but now from that play, Fosu-Mensah looked to get past Townsend, but has instead fouled him. And Palace take it short. Dan to Sakho. Van Aanholt. MacArthur. Looking for... Well, he's lost it. And Greenwood to Martial back to Pogba. Martial now drifting further left and Rashford more central. Maguire shifts it to Fosu-Mensah, back to Maguire. United not really looking to challenge Palace man for man. They're not trying to take them on as such. They're just trying to search for that lead, but not in an open war, more conservatively. It's now McTominay to Wan-Bissaka. Can only find a back pass, and it's now Lindelof. Maguire. Back to Rashford. Pogba finds Fernandes. Lovely layoff to Greenwood, who's dancing round the box, but it's only back to Paul Pogba. Martial, edge of the box. Rashford looking for Martial. Couldn't do so. Gets past one, but he couldn't take his shot on. And in fact, the referee's given a foul, but can't see which way. Rashford and Townsend are both down. Rashford injured himself and Townsend in making that shot, but I can't tell whether Graham Scott is giving a foul towards either club. I can't tell. But they both look back on their feet now. They seem okay. Townsend a little bit worse for wear than Rashford, but it's clear now that he's given it a free kick to Palace. And 21 minutes played, and really Palace have been the far more dangerous side. Just hoping that United can fashion something out of nothing, really, or find a bit of quality where it's been lacking so far. At the moment, Guaita hits it long, looking for Ayew. Wan-Bissaka has it and hits it long. But it's now McTominay, and he is fouled, and United will have a free kick in their own half. I've just seen a question by Johnny Saxa. Do you think we should get some new defenders? Thank you for your question, firstly, Johnny. Yes, I do. I think the fact is that we only have 3 currently fit centre-backs, Bailly, Lindelof and Maguire. And I think, honestly, a left-sided centre-back would be hugely helpful for United. I would go for Nathan Ake if Bournemouth get relegated. And obviously we've seen all the reports of Solskjaer trying to get him to join the club. But there have been other names linked. Deo Upamecano is obviously a very good player. 40 million apparently for him. And he's a young, promising centre-back too. And Rodon for Swansea could also be an option. As for fullbacks, I think we're good on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side might be worth looking into for Diogo Dalot, who obviously isn't one of the manager's favourites, but we'll have to see. You've also said, who would you replace? Now, that's a very good question. I think, for the moment, I'd happily keep Maguire and Lindelof as the starting pair and have someone like Ake or Upamecano or someone like that to push those players to play better, otherwise they could lose their place. But back to that in a second with Fernandes with a dangerous free kick, who whips it in, but it's headed out by the Palace defence. It's back to Fosu-Mensah and Fernandes now. Looks for Wan-Bissaka. Greenwood misses it and Palace could be on the counter, but the scoop pass can only find Lindelof, and Maguire's and McTominay in fact has fouled Jordan Ayew, and it'll be a free kick Palace's way this time. So yeah, back to your question, Johnny. Yeah, as I said, I would say that Tuanzebe is the one that's injured, but the fourth centre back at the moment at the club. But I think he's not going to be ready till September, so it would just be the 4 centre backs, and Rojo, Smalling, and Jones should probably leave. Pogba now to Rashford, and he's threaded a pass to Fosu-Mensah down the left-hand side. This is probably United's most dangerous position, bar the corners. It's now Rashford who whips it in, but it skews wide, but Wan-Bissaka can get there. It's now, it's loose, and it'll be a goal kick to Palace, and it'll be the drinks break now. You said, can you get a timer, or is that hard to fix. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Do you mean the timer for the game? What minute it's being played? Tim Fosu-Mensah is actually, he's playing well in attack. He's winning the ball, but it's about possession, really. I mean, he's not been keeping it too well. He's given it away a couple times dangerously, and that could have led to chances. But overall, I think his reading of the game has been very good, especially since it's his first start for 3 years for United. The time in the game, I'm not sure. I think it might be, but I will look into that for next time. Next time, of course, will be on Sunday when United do play Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Thank you, Johnny. I will be looking into that throughout the next few days. Of course, now Roy Hodgson is giving a bit of a mouthful to, or an earful, in fact, to Zaha. Obviously, Zaha hasn't been the best this season, and his lack of goals has caused Palace problems, obviously having only scored 30 goals this season, which is one more than their young striker on loan, Sorloth, has scored in all competitions in the Turkish league, and in, of course, the cups as well. So they will obviously be looking to him to get the goals, but Ayew and Zaha and Townsend have been dangerous at points, but not linking up as well as you'd expect. But 19 minutes to go of this half as Guaita takes the latest goal kick, and hopefully we will see a goal after this break. And hopefully for Manchester United. It is going to be long, with Pogba shrugging off Ayew quite easily, but Ward winning the second header. McTominay now, and Rashford could try and link it to Martial, but Dan's read that well and has shifted it to MacArthur. He's looking to get in Jordan Ayew, and has now from the deflection. It's Van Aanholt. Looks lively all game. Lovely flick from MacArthur back to Ayew, and MacArthur again down the United right. It's looking for Zaha in the area, but the header was really poor. I've just seen your other question, Johnny. Yeah, Van Aanholt played for Sunderland, and then when they were relegated, or the season before they were relegated, he moved to Crystal Palace, and before then, he actually played for Chelsea. However, he only made a handful of appearances and didn't make one past 2010. But he was most well known for his time at Sunderland under Dick Advocaat and Sam Allardyce. Very good player, really. He's actually been he was looked at in the summer by Liverpool, but they opted against signing him, as it would have cost north of 20 million apparently. But for the moment, it is another former Palace player, Tim Fosu-Mensah, on the ball. He plays it to Fernandes, back to McTominay, looking for any options up front. He finds Martial, and now Rashford could try and jink his way into the box. He's found Fosu-Mensah, who's whipped in a good first-time cross with his left foot to Wan-Bissaka. In the box, he shoots, but it's blocked by Sakho. Out back to Wan-Bissaka, though, who's won the ball again. It's Greenwood now. United starting a lot faster now. McTominay. Back to Fosu-Mensah and McTominay again. Looking for options ahead. He's telling his teammates to come short and get the ball. But after a 1-2 with Rashford, it is back with the Scot. It's Maguire. It's Lindelof again. No real options ahead. Just seen another question from Johnny. Yeah, I had a look before the game. It's not written down, but I did have a look before the game at Van Aanholt's former clubs, actually, coincidentally. But for the moment, Martial driving inside the box. Looks for Greenwood, who scuffed it wide. Great find from Martial, and Greenwood, who you'd back to finish inside the box, has just miskicked it and hit the ground, and it bubbled out for a goal kick. But yeah, back to your question, Johnny. Yeah, I have some things written down, but that part was just I coincidentally had a glance at before the game. And as you might remember, against Southampton, United missed good chances before they opened the scoring, and then Southampton scored. So we'll hopefully not have a repeat of that. But Harry Maguire, I think, has gone down with a head injury. I think he just got caught in the face by Jordan Ayew. Let me have a look. He's just headed, and his face has gone into the back of Ayew's head. Eric Bailly is apparently preparing to warm up, but I don't think Maguire will back down that easily. I think he looks fine. He's just getting the routine head check, which has become such an important part of the game now, checking for concussions and things like that, because obviously beforehand and the last few years it's not been as attentively looked at. But he's looking okay, but Bailly is warming up. Would be a massive blow if Maguire does come off. Obviously not missed a single minute of Premier League football so far for Manchester United. And the big game he did miss was against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and we all know how badly that went with Phil Jones coming in. This will add a considerable amount of extra time onto the first half. He's looking rather sluggish, actually, Maguire, but then again, that could be just him. It seems okay, but he will have to come off after being looked at. Come off the pitch, actually, not off the not out of the team, not substituted off so far, but looks like he's going to be okay. We'll have to see. Will be a drop ball where Palace have it, and I think they'll kick it back to United, you would assume. Or not, as it turned out, and they've just played it short to Ward, and now Townsend looking to get past Fosu Mensah. Back to Ward. And a long pass trying to find Ayew. Maguire's come back on and is looking to defend against the striker, and a loose pass from Rashford is met by McCarthy, but Pogba can recapture the ball and find Martial. Looking for Wan-Bissaka's found him very well, actually. He's looking for the ball again. It's a nice pass from Wan-Bissaka to Martial on the right-hand side. Reverse pass to Pogba, who looked like he was bundled over. Graham Scott gives nothing. And it's recycled with Lindelof and McTominay, and Martial look to find anyone, but Sakho clears. The game was stopped briefly, and then it was a drop ball. But then United were temporarily with 10 men, but Maguire came straight back on, as is the rules when the medical team comes on the pitch. But for now, Palace are playing on the counter. That potential penalty wasn't looked at by VAR, not good enough, not significant enough. But now Palace are on the counter, and it's Townsend finding Ayew on the edge of the box, but is swarmed by Maguire and McTominay and has to force it back to Milivojevic. Plays a poor pass to Greenwood. Looks for Fernandes and finds him. Chips over one. Oh, he looked for Rashford, but it hit Ward. And It's back to Palace. Van Aanholt. And now it's Zaha with looking for the reverse pass. Instead finds Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. McTominay. That was nice and intricate. And now it's a through ball to Mason Greenwood. United could be on the counter. It's Greenwood, Martial, Fernandes. Looking for Fernandes. It was loose. And Ward's loose touch is actually going to go out for a corner. But looked like if that pass could have found anyone from Mason Greenwood, that could have been really devastating. I think he was looking for Rashford on the far side, on the left-hand side, but couldn't quite do so. Now looking back at that Pogba thing, Pogba does do well to get past one, but I think he was looking for that potential. Yeah, it was minimal, really, from Pogba. But for the moment, Fernandes with the corner in. Deep corner towards Rashford, actually, but it's headed out by Dan. Pogba can get it now. Found Wan-Bissaka. Looking to get past his former teammate Van Aanholt. He does, but can't get past McCarthy. And it's a goal kick for the moment for Palace. But McCarthy's gone down, and I'll have to look. And Wan-Bissaka just catches McCarthy. But he's looking to get the cross in. I don't think that'll be looked at as a foul. I think it will just be the goal kick and medical attention. Stand corrected. He's actually booked him for that, which seems rather harsh, actually. Because when you think about some of the challenges that have been going in that haven't been booked and things like that, that shouldn't really be a yellow card, because it was intent to play the ball. It was late. But another question from Johnny. What do you think about Eric Bailly? Ever since he came in, I was excited to see Bailly play, and just pretty much straight from that first challenge with Jamie Vardy in the Community Shield, I thought he would be a really good defender. He's obviously, his fitness has not helped, or his lack of fitness has not helped, and he's not really kicked on. But I think if he can stay fit, he'll be a really good option for United, because while he can be rash, you sometimes need that kind of rash defender who's willing to take a few risks alongside the composed defender. And I think he might complement Maguire well, and I think he will offer Lindelof competition. But we can't just rely on those three. We need more options, really. And now it's just playing around the back four. De Gea's found a nice pass to Wan-Bissaka, and now Pogba again, who has to shift it back to the goalkeeper. Pogba again. He's looking to drive the team forward. He's got an option either side, and has found the one on the right with Wan-Bissaka. But there are 8 players behind the ball for the moment for Palace. And Martial back to Wan-Bissaka. Lindelof and Maguire. Shifts it wide to Fernandes. Back to Rashford. Fernandes again looks for a wide pass towards Wan-Bissaka, who's swerving everywhere, but he's found him. It's a decent cross in, but it's headed out by Joel Ward, I think, for another corner, and it will be a corner on United's left-hand side. And another chance to get the big men forward for United. Set pieces have been better so far. And it's Fernandes, whips it in towards Maguire again, and it's just wide again. It's been a good option again, and he's just glanced it wide. That's really unfortunate. That's not poor from Maguire, as we've seen. We've seen him miss those kind of ones poorly, but that is just unfortunate, really. Glances narrowly wide. I don't think Guaita was getting there. And Sacco is completely mismatched with the English centre-back. But for the moment, Guaita hits it long. Finds Lindelof only. Pogba back to Maguire. Only one shot on target so far this half, and it's from Palace. So United will know they have to play a lot better if they are to win this game. But for the moment, it's Fosu-Mensah back to Maguire. Back to Fosu-Mensah. Martial on the left. Looks to get past Townsend, is fouled, rather cynically. From Johnny, yes, if we do win the Europa League, we will get Champions League, regardless of where we finish. Of course, that's not something to rely on because that's not till later in August. So we'd rather, I know I'd rather get the Champions League, the normal route, and then look for the silverware just because it's silverware. But you are correct. Dylan has said Wan-Bissaka really deserved a yellow card for that. I don't think so. I think it was a genuine attempt to play the ball, which we've seen not given as anything, let alone a foul, or even a yellow card. So that's disappointing, really, from that side. But Van Aanholt now trying to play a through ball in. Lindelof's only giving it to Ayew, and it's punched by David De Gea. But it's back to... I can't see who it is. I think it might be Ayew, but it's Greenwood looking to break, finding Fernandes, looking for options. Either side, he's found a nice pass to Rashford on the right-hand side. He's looking to cut back. He's got another option. Greenwood on the edge of the box. Fernandes, who scuffed his shot, but it's back to Pogba, who's thought he lost possession, but he's got it back again. Lindelof to Wan-Bissaka. It's Greenwood. Lindelof. Maguire. Fernandes looking for a hit. Swerving just wide. Was Ayew looking to find MacArthur, and then Van Aanholt was driving forward. I want to see how that... Then Lindelof just stretches and blocks it, but he hits it only at Ayew, and it's straight at De Gea, to be fair, and it's punched high into the sky, and United get away with another one, but still not a shot on target, with Fernandes' latest... Well, the United's latest effort only going wide, but... Palace now looking to get on the attack with Ayew feeding MacArthur and Zaha holding off Lindelof for the moment. And Greenwood. But it's back to MacArthur and Dan to Ward. Hits it only at Rashford. But back to MacArthur. McCarthy even. It's Lindelof looking to counter, finding Martial. There are options for him. He looked for Rashford, but the pass was only facing Van Aanholt, and Van Aanholt can now bring Palace forward. That's good link up between him and Zaha, and he's found MacArthur. But it's blocked by Wan-Bissaka and out for a United throw after a deflection from James MacArthur. It's Pogba now. It's Maguire after a pass from Fosu-Mensah to Rashford. Whips it in, looking for Fernandes, but it's headed out by Sakho to Dan. Milivojevic shifts it straight to Ayew, but he was stretching and couldn't get there. Maguire instead has it now. Pogba. Fosu-Mensah. Back to Maguire. Looking for options ahead. Can only find McTominay behind him, who is operating a lot like how Matic has been, as almost an auxiliary centre-back. He's actually the deepest player for United, other than, of course, David De Gea. But it's Martial, poor hold-up play that time. Milivojevic can get the ball, and he's fed it to Zaha, who could be away. No Wan-Bissaka there, and Zaha's looking to get past Lindelof, who's rather clumsy, but Graham Scott says no foul. United carry on instead. They look to bring it forward. It's Bruno Fernandes trying to feed Greenwood but couldn't. It's now Sakho and McCarthy and Townsend clipping it wide to Van Aanholt. They are saying it could be a penalty. VAR saying it could be a penalty, but Lindelof gets the ball. We'll have to look at that in more detail later on. But for the moment, 1 minute left of the half, and Palace in possession. Potential penalty call awaiting in the next break of play. But Ward finding McCarthy. Long to Van Aanholt. It's a nice play. Looking for MacArthur. Can't get past Lindelof that time. But it's another cross in towards Zaha, but De Gea catches it and launches it towards Mason Greenwood on the left-hand side. Couldn't find any options. It's Pogba now. McTominay shifts it wide to Fernandes, who's quite deep for where he really should be. Should be in the pockets of space where he is actually now. He's moved there now, but he's found Rashford to Wan-Bissaka. Whips it in towards Martial. It's gone all the way through to Townsend. And he hoofs it wide towards Zaha, but Maguire's done well in the air, as you'd expect. It's Pogba now. McTominay. United looking 4 minutes left of the half, but of added time. But nice link up, and Fernandes tries to thread it into Rashford, and it could be Rashford's goal. He's done brilliantly, and he's finished. He's done a fantastic bit of play between Manchester United, but of course it might be looked at because the play didn't break up from the penalty call. But as of now, United are leading against Palace. You have to say, against the run of play. Let's have a look at that now. Fernandes linking up with Martial and then playing it into Rashford. No offside. And Rashford just does well to hold off Van Aanholt and dummy both him and Joe Ward and slot it past Vicente Guaita. Really, really good play. Maybe you could say poor defending, but I'm gonna give all the praise to Rashford there. But we'll have to see. Now they're looking at that call now. Oh, he does get Zaha, but he does get the ball too, it would seem. Is it clear and obvious? He does get the ball with his right foot. It's been given, the goal's been given, and United lead with 47 minutes played. And if you may recall, this is exactly how United got the lead at Crystal Palace in 2016. But a really powerful shot. A powerful shot from Townsend just hit Maguire square in the face. But then Greenwood gives away a foul. Oh, it's actually... The ball's in the box, but the player is not. And so that will be a free kick with 2 minutes left. And can Palace equalise almost immediately? Of course, Van Aanholt and Milivojevic are excellent set-piece takers. But we'll have to see. Another question from Johnny. Can I show the highlights after the game, or is that illegal? I don't have access to the highlights, but I think maybe 15 minutes after the game, they will be on YouTube by Sky Sports, so hopefully that helps. Set piece about to be taken. It looks like it's going to be Luka Milivojevic. There are players in there, so I don't know whether he's going to go for goal or whip it in, but De Gea's left a lot of space on his near post. We'll have to see how Milivojevic deals with this. And he takes it. It's looped in. It's a great save from De Gea. Brilliant save. He clips it in, Milivojevic. It is slow, but De Gea gets there and saves really, really well. But it will be a corner to Palace. Milivojevic in. Headed out by Rashford. As far as Greenwood, who's got the luck that time, but Van Aanholt looks for a shot. It's blocked straight away. And United can counter. They have the numbers. Martial, Rashford, Fernandes, Greenwood. Rashford now on the right-hand side. Looks for a first-time ball. It's wildly overhit, and it's going to be a goal kick. And that probably will be the last play of the half. But let's have another look at that save from De Gea. It's not quite in the top corner, but had to be saved, and he did it so well. It's a good save from De Gea. He's had a good game so far. But will be that goal kick, and that should probably be the last kick of the first half, which United, while ahead, probably didn't deserve to be. And that is it for the first half. We will be back shortly before the second half begins, but for those of you just joining us now, United 1-0 up from a brilliant bit of play from Fernandes, Martial and Rashford. Rashford, of course, finding the goal, and opening the scoring for United. Potential penalty call going against Palace because it wasn't clear and obvious, but nonetheless, United ahead at half-time in a crucial game for the race for top 4. As I said before, if you have any questions or topics you'd like for me to discuss, please comment below and I will discuss them just before the second half begins. But until then, stay safe and we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Hello and welcome back to the second half of Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Before I answer any questions you might have about this, so far the highlights are Crystal Palace have been the more dangerous side, obviously registering more shots on target than Manchester United. I think it's 3 to the United's 1. Crystal Palace obviously having really good chance 90 seconds in, but De Gea made a great save. Then later on in the game, they had a potential penalty call that was waved away by referee Graham Scott, and then 2 minutes later, United break and McTominay finding Fernandes, and after link up between Fernandes and Martial, and then back to Rashford and Fernandes again. Fernandes found a good pass to Rashford, who kept his composure, sent Van Aanholt and Joel Ward, and even Vicente Guaita completely the wrong way before slotting it calmly into the bottom of the net and scoring his 22nd goal of the season. And then late on in the first half, Milivojevic tested De Gea with a great free kick option and a really good save from the Spaniard. Question from Dylan: does Mason Greenwood look like he needs a rest? Obviously, there were the reports that he might not actually play after having a really swollen ankle from that challenge from Romeu, which should have been a red card. Honestly, I could see him coming off after an hour, especially with Chelsea to play, and I think Dan James needs some more game time, and I could see him coming on and potentially having to deal with the tracking back of Van Aanholt, and has the pace to get past him as well. So I'd be interested to see whether maybe Greenwood can come off, but yeah, I think he should be taken off, especially with some crucial games to come in the next 7 days, really. So we'll have to see whether Solskjaer agrees with myself. But for the moment, Palace are getting ready to kick the game, the second half. Yeah, that just another thing. That penalty call from everybody who's been saying that has stated that it should have been a penalty, despite Lindelof getting a touch on the ball. But it's another VAR mistake, which is something they're going to have to look at ahead of next season. And straight from the off, Fosu-Mensah's given away a foul on the halfway line against Townsend, who's actually looked quite decent, as I said, when reading the game, but has given the ball away a couple times, but has grown into it, you have to say. So that could be an option for the rest of the season if Shaw and Williams are unable to play. But for now, it's a long pass, and Van Aanholt tries to whip it across. It's cleared by McTominay, but only out as a throw. It's Van Aanholt with the throw. Of course, the win as it stands would send United nowhere different in position-wise, but would keep them within a point of Chelsea and and level on points with Leicester, but only goal difference splitting the sides, which is something we have actually seen before. United missing out on Champions League football from goal difference in 2015-16, with Manchester City having the significantly larger goal difference. But for the moment, De Gea hits a long pass towards Greenwood, who's dealt with that really well and found Wan-Bissaka to McTominay. Back to Greenwood, who's got past Van Aanholt really nicely, and MacArthur finds a nice pass to Pogba, whose first time pass to Fosu-Mensah was slightly underhit, but the young Dutch player has got the ball. It's Rashford. Now Pogba, back to Maguire. Long pass towards Wan-Bissaka, finds Wan-Bissaka. And McTominay towards, I think, Greenwood, who went down, but nothing given. Maguire. Fosu-Mensah. Rashford. Looked to get past, I think, Townsend, but instead conceded a throw-in. Of course, if you're not aware, Marcus Rashford has been awarded an honorary doctorate from the University of Manchester for his efforts outside of football, of course. Question from Dominic Hare. Fernandes looks tired, maybe. Yeah, he's obviously he has played a lot of games. He's taken off, I think, after 75 minutes against Southampton. I think he's just trying to create things, really, but we'll have to see. I think he'll probably get taken off if United are winning 2 or 3-0, especially with one eye on the game on Sunday. But for the moment, Martial has earned himself a corner after some tenacity chasing down a ball and Sacco unable to catch him. And Martial just stands on the line and earns a corner. And that corner was headed behind by Sacco, who gave away the first one, and it will be a second one with the queue of centre-backs waiting, and the deliveries have been better. Fernandes now whipping it in, but that one was poor, and it's cleared out by Jordan Ayew. McTominay, back to Fernandes. He's got there and found McTominay again, really nicely down the left-hand side, who's tried to get past Joe Ward and been fouled by Joe Ward, and it will be a free kick to United. Another dangerous opportunity to get a ball in the box, and the big players up again, and look like it will be Fernandes again to take this one. Much better angle. Could have the short option of Pogba, but instead whips it in. It's headed on by 2 Palace players, in fact, and will probably go out for a United throw on the right-hand side. It is, in fact, Wan-Bissaka playing it to Pogba. Back to Wan-Bissaka, who looked to get past, I think, MacArthur, but claims of handball waved away, but Pogba still has it. Back to Maguire. Sends a nice pass into Fernandes, who stayed on the left-hand side. He puts in a ball towards Rashford, headed out by Sacco, but it's won well by McTominay, and then Pogba, who's actually not won the ball, is actually given away a foul. Looks like it's going to be played short by Jordan Ayew, but is instead won by Fernandes, but lost by Townsend, and it's McTominay who's the latest player to foul a Palace player. It's Townsend who gets past him really well and just gets his legs tangled up and maybe an arm on him as well. But it's a free kick to Palace on the halfway line. It's going to be Dan to hit it long to Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Gets past Greenwood and past McTominay. Central now. Looks for a shot, pass into Zaha, but Lindelof, in fact, has done well that time, and Maguire clears. And it's swept wide by Milivojevic to Scott Dan, who's ventured a little bit further wider than you'd expect. But Joel Ward loses possession, looking to stop Rashford from getting in behind, has played a back pass to Guaita, who hits it long. Pogba was looking to challenge for that, but McCarthy's done well, and he's looking for a long pass down the right-hand side for Palace, but it's Fosu-Mensah who does well this time, and De Gea hits it long. Looking for Fernandes, can only find Scott Dan. Van Aanholt now. I think it's MacArthur this time. Milivojevic instead, who's played a smart pass under pressure to Scott Dan. Joel Ward. Townsend, lovely flick, but Maguire reads it well. Doesn't get it to Zaha, Fosu-Mensah, now McTominay, and Pogba back to McTominay, and Fosu-Mensah couldn't get past. Townsend has conceded a throw. But Sacco now. Of course, the former Liverpool player, Mamadou Sacco, was frozen out of Liverpool after his first season under Jurgen Klopp and was eventually sold to Palace for 20 to 25 million. Sacco now looking to venture forward though, but is instead finds Jordan Ayew. And it's MacArthur on the right-hand side, or United's right-hand side. Now Ayew looking to find Zaha, who's playing really well as a striker. He's looked for a shot. It's blocked by Maguire and Lindelof and cleared by Harry Maguire out, I think, for a throw. But it was wide enough it could have been a corner. But really, really good play from Van Aanholt and Zaha. A great block from Maguire, and he clears it out, and it will be a throw. MacArthur gives it to Van Aanholt to take. And it's only back to Milivojevic. McCarthy. United pushing up, looking to press Palace, who have given away sloppy passes. But I think Ayew loses out and Fosu Mensah gets the ball away from Townsend. Pogba to Fernandes. Lovely pass. But it's cut out well by Sacco. And it's Van Aanholt to MacArthur. Van Aanholt central on the left-hand side. Milivojevic. McCarthy down the right-hand side to Joel Ward, who puts in a floated ball towards MacArthur. Floated, it's back to Zaha on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. Whips it in towards MacArthur. It's cleared well, and Fernandes can head out. Joel Ward recycles to McCarthy. Townsend, central. Looks to get past Fernandes, can't quite do so, and Fernandes wins the ball. And he looks for, he could have found Greenwood, who was free, and he looked for Martial instead. And in fact, Palace have the ball now with Zaha down United's right, looking to get into the box. He's got in the box, he takes a shot, and it's in. And Ayew scores. United are looking for a flag that's not coming. Great pass from Zaha, and Ayew's predatory finishing has got Palace's his 10th goal this season in the Premier League. They're obviously going to have a look at this, but Wan-Bissaka does well to chauffeur him on to his left, but his left foot's good enough, and Ayew's not offside, and that is a really good goal from Crystal Palace, who have reacted really well. Oh, hang on. They're having another look. The first angle didn't look offside, but it's minimal. I'm going to hold fire for now. It's Wan-Bissaka's trailing right foot, or left foot in fact, that might be playing him on, but it's so tight. It will be... He looks offside from that angle, but it's really tight. You can't really tell. Honestly, these lines that they draw for the VAR look like they're being done in clip art or Microsoft Paint, but it's as he's getting a word. He's not going to go and look. Of course, the referees are not really going to be looking, and it is ruled out, in fact. And Crystal Palace will feel hard done by because it's so marginal, but United's lead remains intact. And that is a really, really close call because, to be fair, Palace have looked better. But if it's an offside, it's an offside, and that is really the... Those kind of offsides are the ones where there are really no contentious decisions. It's just unfortunate, really. But in the meantime, United can counter with Greenwood on the right-hand side, just on the edge of the box. Finds Pogba, has a shot, but it's very wide. And it will be a goal kick. Let's have a look at that again. It is minimal. It is literally his big toe. It's his big toe playing him offside. Jordan Ayew. That's really unfortunate, but perhaps fortunate for Manchester United, who have got 2 VAR calls in their favour, you could say. But nonetheless, they still lead, and Palace still have to do more. It is, of course, MacArthur on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, in fact, down to Zaha. Marked by Lindelof all the way. Look for a reverse pass, but Lindelof's done very well to stop Zaha there, who's almost acting like an auxiliary striker, really, instead of a left winger. It's more MacArthur on the left-hand side and Zaha playing as a striker. So that might be something for United to think about. It's more like a 4-4-2 instead of a 4-2-3-1. But for the moment, it is Palace Van Aanholt who now loses possession to Greenwood. McTominay, Greenwood, Pogba. Greenwood was fouled by Milivojevic, but Pogba can instead find a ball to Anthony Martial down the left-hand side for United. He's looking to cut in, but Rashford instead to Pogba. Thought about the shot, thought against it. Rashford instead looked for Fosu Mensah. It's blocked well by Townsend. And now McCarthy can bring it away. Nice pass towards Ayew, but Maguire's done very well there. And it's now Rashford on the channel. Martial in the box. It's cleared by Scott Dan, and it will be a goal kick instead. And there are going to be 2 substitutions. It's going to be Nemanja Matic, who of course scored that winner against Crystal Palace after being 2-0 down in 2018. A few games before Manchester United was set to play Manchester City in one of the great recent derbies between the two. But it will also be Jesse Lingard to come on, apparently. And long pass from Guaita, doesn't find anyone. And Van Aanholt now with the ball. I think it will be for McTominay and Greenwood, but it's a shame not to see Dan James. It is now Jordan Ayew down Palace's left, looking to get past Victor Lindelof. And has flicked it really nicely to Van Aanholt, but he's marked all the way by Wan-Bissaka. It's MacArthur instead. Central to McCarthy, who was a nice shot, but De Gea has saved it relatively comfortably. But it's a lovely attempt by McCarthy, who connects it really well, but it is straight at De Gea. Johnny, yes, my surprise is the same as yours for Jesse Lingard. I don't know why, but it would probably seem maybe give Greenwood a rest and give Lingard some game time, and probably just for the pressing side, you'd have to say. But for the moment, it's McTominay laying it off to Lindelof. And Maguire. Lindelof again. McTominay. No real options, and Pogba's just given that away poorly, and it's a 2-on-2, and it's Zaha. Maguire does very well there. Last-ditch challenge, fantastic. And Lindelof. Back to Maguire, who's just saved United there, because Zaha would have been through. And it's Pogba now, who gave away the pass, and now Martial's given one away, but he's done well to recover it. And Fernandes to Greenwood, looking to drive into the centre and the D, but Wan-Bissaka's won it now. McTominay, Greenwood on the edge of the box, in the box now, but it's cleared by Palace to Ayew, marked by Lindelof. Fernandes now, he's having to track all the way back really, but he's found a good pass to MacArthur, and now it's Townsend's given that away. It's Rashford to Martial. He's going to look for Rashford, who hits it, but it's straight at Guaita. And that's an easy save. Really should have done better. Pretty similar position to the one against Southampton. But you would have backed Rashford to have scored that. But Wan-Bissaka's just done well to stop MacArthur in his tracks. And it looked like the substitutions will be made now. Martial, lovely. And Rashford's one it's a weak shot. Will it be Greenwood or will it be Rashford for Lingard? It will be Greenwood, as suggested. Jesse Lingard, of course, making a rare Premier League appearance. I think it's his first one since, I believe, the derby. The Manchester derby. But it could actually be, in fact, against Burnley. But Matic, of course, was not starting this game because he needed a rest. He's obviously played a lot of football. and McTominay has now come off now for the Serbian. But for the moment, Palace on the attack. It's Jordan Ayew down the left-hand side. He's got past Wan-Bissaka, you would think, but Wan-Bissaka's trailing leg has found a really good tackle. And while Sacco looked to try and bring it forward, Pogba's instead looked for Martial, but he slipped. And Dan has the ball. It's now MacArthur on the centre circle. Back to Sacco. Van Aanholt. Back to Milivojevic. Looks to sweep it to Joel Ward and's found him quite easily. It's Townsend on the right-hand side. To McCarthy. And Zaha looking to get past. And he's found MacArthur. And the pass was awful. That was a really good chance for James McArthur, who was through on goal, you have to say. And if he could hit it with his right foot, that could have been a good chance. Because there's no space there. Wan-Bissaka's gone with Ayew, and that's a really poor decision. But the pass from MacArthur is just as bad. And so United get the goal kick. And Roy Hodgson looks in dismay. But he'll know that United could potentially be susceptible to the equaliser, because they haven't been as defensively competent as they are used to. But it's Maguire now to Fosu-Mensah, who you have to say has grown in the game. He's not put a foot wrong since the second half's begun. But all the attack coming down the right hand side. But now it's Lingard looking for Rashford. Back to Martial on the edge of the box on the left hand side. Leaves it for Fernandes, who's found Martial again. It's pinball, but Milivojevic clears. And Palace could counter now. Ayew looking to get past Maguire. And he's brought down. And it's going to be a yellow card for Harry Maguire. It was very cynical from Maguire, you have to say. He basically shoves Ayew to the ground. For those of you looking at Danny Ings and their fantasy football, he has just scored for Southampton, and it will be 1-1 between them and Brighton. It's Martial on the edge of the box. Looks for Fernandes, who loses possession. No real foul in there, but free kick to Palace, and it's launched in, but could only go back for a goal kick. No real danger there. You have to say Palace are missing the target man of Benteke. Ayew's done a decent job, and Zaha's had his moments in the air, but obviously Benteke is the better target man, and would have added a bit more of a challenge for Lindelof and Maguire, who have dealt well with the aerial duels for the most part. But it's Pogba now on the ball. Reverse pass to Matic, back to Pogba. Long pass finding Fosu-Mensah, who heads it out of off the pitch for a throw, just inside Palace's half. You have to say 35 minutes left, 25 minutes left even, and you could see this game going either way. Palace have been playing quite well, and Fosu-Mensah's just given away a foul. It is clumsy, but it's not a yellow card as the Palace players were shouting for. But Sacco now to MacArthur to Van Aanholt. And it's MacArthur again. Van Aanholt pressed by Lingard, who's done a decent job so far of marking Van Aanholt. It's McCarthy, though, to Joel Ward on the right-hand side. More central to Jordan Ayew, but it's poor pass. But Van Aanholt managed to get the ball from a good bit of play from MacArthur. And he feeds him now on the left-hand side for Palace. Lindelof does well defensively. And Zaha to Joel Ward. Nice reverse pass to Ayew's hold-up play has been good. But it's a ball towards Townsend. Whips it in. It's headed out by Maguire. But I think it's gone out either way. So that will be, I think, a goal kick to Manchester United. But Palace still offering up chances. United still giving them chances to get back into the game. You have to say they need to play better. They need to get that second goal as the settler. But as of now, will be a goal kick to United. But before then, it will be a drinks break. So as always, any questions at the moment, feel free to comment below on the live chat, and I'll answer them during this brief break from the football. Of course, I think you can't really take off Pogba or Fernandes, because while they have given the ball away, they are looking to actually get the ball forward, and so that it is quite important that they stay on. I could see Anthony Martial coming off. Maybe he's looked good, but could probably do with the rest ahead of Chelsea. Question from Johnny: do you think we can get third place? It's tough. I have to say, it is really tough. We've obviously not helped ourselves with that Southampton result. Of course, that's not entirely United's fault, but I mean, they were down to 10 men, but it's what it is. But I think it's still there. Points are there to be dropped. Obviously, Chelsea do have to play Liverpool, who aren't in the right frame of mind, but they will want to win when they lift the Premier League trophy. And obviously, Wolves will always cause problems if they're still in for a shout of Europa League football or even Champions League football. They'll give it a go. And I do see Chelsea dropping points in one of those games. It's just whether United can get 3 in all their remaining 3. Leicester as well have got Tottenham, and if we can beat Leicester on the final day, hopefully it won't have to come to that. But if we can, that'll be massive for United, obviously. It is a goal kick, and it is taken to Lindelof, who's found a nice pass to Fernandes. Lingard couldn't get that under control, so Sacco has it now. Reverse pass to McCarthy, but it's loose again from Sacco, and Matic now has it. Looking to slow things down, perhaps. Rashford, back to Matic. It's Pogba. Matic. Nice fizz pass into Fosu-Mensah. Looked for Martial, but it was under hit. Rashford has it now, though. Lingard, who's come central. It's Fosu-Mensah on the left-hand side. Matic now venturing forward. Couldn't find anything. And instead has to go... Oh, he's lost it. He's looking for a back pass and he lost it instead. But the pass is overhit from Ayew and Lindelof can recover. That's another scare for United. Palace still unwilling to make any substitutions. But it looks like one might be getting ready now. Pogba to Lingard. Fernandes on the right-hand side. Looking to drive into the box. He goes for a nice reverse pass to Martial, but it's defended well. But it's given away back to Fernandes. But he slips as he takes the shot on. And I think it will go for a goal kick. But another opportunity for United goes wasted, really. I'm not sure whether that was a shot, the first one. But the second one looked like it was. But he slipped. And it will be Jeffrey Schlupp to come on for Crystal Palace. And it will be MacArthur, who's obviously played as more as that left winger, so maybe it will be Schlupp to play against Wan-Bissaka. You would assume he would be playing as a left winger, in fact, and it is Guaita to take the goal kick. Hits it long. Maguire wins it easily, and Matic now. It is interesting that Leicester are 4 goals ahead of United on the goal difference tally. So if a defeat looms against Tottenham or against United, that could prove to be massive for both teams, really. But Fernandes now whips it to Maguire, who chests it down nicely, but only can play it to Matic. De Gea, with Palace pressing, goes back to the goalkeeper. But he's found a nice pass towards Matic, who has given the ball away. He's got to be careful because Zaha's on his tail. And he's, in fact, found Fosu-Mensah quite well. He's played it back to De Gea. Pogba now looks to get past Milivojevic. Can do. He's found Fosu-Mensah. And now Rashford to Pogba to Fernandes. Looking for Martial. Couldn't find him. Only finds Scott Dan, who's got past the Portuguese player really well. And now Schlupp looking to get past Lingard. And he goes for a shot, but it's really, really wide. And that'll be a goal kick to United. Dom has said, is it only me whose heart stops beating when De Gea has the ball at his feet? It is nerve-wracking. Honestly, his short distribution is quite questionable. We have seen it throughout this season. His long passing has actually been a lot better over the last few games, and I would probably suggest that he does that a lot more often. But, of course, it is the norm now to be playing out from the back with these short short goal kicks even. And they've done it now with Maguire to Fosu-Mensah. Back to Maguire. Zaha pressing him, but he's looking for a pass forward. He can only find McCarthy, but it's defended well to stop it from going any further. It will be a corner. And with 2 balls on the pitch, that should probably have stopped play, but it's Townsend now to McCarthy. McCarthy now. But Fernandes can bring it away after Matic intercepted. It's now Martial on the left-hand side. Rashford steaming forward. He finds Rashford down the left. He looks for the cut back towards Fernandes, and he's hit the post. Oh, I don't believe it. And Pogba's won that ball, but Joel Ward hits it, tries to clear it towards Jordan Ayew, and Lindelof has that, and he's done well. And Wan-Bissaka now. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But now it's Matic, Pogba. United on the counter-attack can be devastating. They were almost so clinical then. That was so unlucky. Fernandes now, though. Pogba. Fernandes. Another question from Johnny. Who is the best keeper in the world, in your opinion? For me, if you'd asked me 12 months ago, David De Gea. Not so sure anymore, but probably have to say between Ter Stegen and Jan Oblak. I mean, both of them are fantastic, but you have to say Jan Oblak's clean sheet record and save record is astonishing, and so I'd probably say Jan Oblak. But for the moment, United keeping that vital clean sheet that's keeping them between a win and a draw. Martial loses out, but Bruno Fernandes has it now. Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the box, looking to go centrally, looking to cut past Sacco, but it was quite easily dealt with by the Frenchman. And Lingard's not. Lingard's given away a foul against Jordan Ayew. Let's have a look at that break. Matic wins the ball well. Fernandes drives team forward. He finds Martial, who in turn waits for Rashford to make that run, and he feeds him. It's a great cutback from Rashford, and it's bobbling, and he hits the post, square on the post. It's really unfortunate. But Palace now. Dan to Milivojevic. Scoops it to Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Back to Sacco. Milivojevic again, operating almost like two central or holding midfielders with McCarthy and Milivojevic, and Schlupp's almost playing like a number 10. But for the moment, Joel Ward down the right looks to feed in Townsend, but Maguire clears long, but only as far as Ward. McCarthy, Ward, Sacco. Palace with a bit more confidence in their play. Milivojevic scoops it to Van Aanholt again. That pass has been on all game, but the pass from Van Aanholt wasn't good enough, and Fernandes can bring the team forward if his pass wasn't deflected or defended well by McCarthy. But it's Joel Ward with a nice pass to Townsend, who's looking to get past Fosu-Mensah. Whipped to Zaha, who looks to get past Maguire, who's done very well. Gone off his feet, but done well to stop Zaha. It's Matic to Rashford. Looking to get... Oh, that's brilliant skill from Rashford. He's got past 3 players, and I don't know how he's done it. But Fernandes and Martial, left-hand side, the most frequently used. Martial in the box, and that is brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant goal. Fantastic link-up play between Fernandes, Martial and Rashford. And Martial competes with Rashford again. 21 goals before this game, 22 after. And that is the cushion of 2 goals for United finally. Really lovely finish. You can't keep him quiet all game. Not this season. Rashford gets past 2 players, unbelievably. There's another step over, but finds Fernandes instead. Really incisive pass through the legs to Rashford, who feeds Martial, who's clearly onside, and that is a brilliant finish as he's falling over, in fact. And 12 minutes to go, United have a 2-goal lead. Really lovely finish, and it's those dynamic pair, the dynamic duo for Manchester United yet again. Really lovely. Guaita didn't even move. Oh, now Crystal Palace's Van Aanholt is down. Obviously, it won't affect the goal, but it looks like he landed really badly on his neck. Could be his shoulder, could be his neck, but it didn't look like a good landing. You have to say. You have to feel really sorry for him because he's done very well all game, really. And obviously, while Palace have 3 more defensive options in Mitchell, Woods, and Kelly, none of them are natural left backs. So you might have to say Schlupp plays as a left back, and he'll bring on either Chiarte or Maya, or maybe even Riedewald. Let's have a look. Yeah, as Martial slips, it catches Van Aanholt. Obviously, not going to affect the goal or the. But looks like he might have dislocated his shoulder actually, or maybe broken his collarbone because that's what the medics are holding in place, and he's been given oxygen. Maybe. You have to say this is a crucial second goal. Obviously, we'll take United no more places forward in the league, but we'll keep them on track to compete with Chelsea and Leicester with 2 games left. United obviously have West Ham at home next Wednesday and Leicester City on the Sunday, which will be the final game of the season. And of course, in between that, they have Chelsea in the semi-final of the FA Cup, all of which we will be live streaming as our watch-alongs. So they'll all be available. If you can't, if you're unfortunately unable to watch the games through other means. But it looks like it will be one of those young defenders, and can't see who it is, in fact. It will be Tyrick Mitchell, and also McCarthy coming off, who's done quite well all game, but Jairo Riedewald will be making an appearance today instead of the Irishman. Of course, there will be another lengthy stoppage time. I think you'd probably say about 5 or 6 minutes. But let's have a look at this now again. Yeah, really good finish from Martial, and then as he does it, he trips over, and Roy Hodgson is actually fuming at that goal because he can't believe that his team haven't got back into the game, and he'll obviously feel aggrieved with the first goal because in the build-up to that, there was the penalty shout, which in retrospect probably should have been given Palace's way, and that would have probably changed the nature of the game. But as it stands, again, United are 2-0 up, within a point of Chelsea, level on points with Leicester, but only 4 goals behind them, and even if they were to be level on goal difference, there you'd probably say it would in fact be Leicester who would remain on top due to the number of goals scored being higher than United's, with 67 to 63 currently. Of course, I think there's 9 medical staff on the pitch, and to deal with this. So this is obviously a really serious injury, and he's obviously being wheeled out on a stretcher, which is obviously never a good sign. So thoughts and prayers go to Patrick Van Aanholt, who has played really well. I've just seen Dom's also said that as well. So yeah, no, really, really good performance from Van Aanholt. Really unlucky there because he could really do nothing about that. But be interesting to see whether Tyrick Mitchell can slot in as comfortably as Van Aanholt has been. Youngsters barely played for Palace so far. There's probably going to be about 6 or 7 minutes of stoppage time now as Palace get us underway after the second goal, and it's Mitchell's first touch is back to Sakho. Mitchell now looking for Zaha, and Wan-Bissaka does well to hit it against. He hits it against his former teammate, and it will go out for a throw. And he's found Pogba. Lingard back to Pogba, hits it long to Fosu-Mensah. Maguire looked to try and get past Ayew, but cut back and found Pogba. Matic back to Maguire. It's now Rashford who looked to sweep it to Fosu-Mensah, but the pass was poor and will be a Palace throw. Now Rashford's won the ball back, and it will be a Palace throw, in fact, despite Rashford looking like he'd won one instead. But Milivojevic looking to get past Fernandes and finds Townsend down the right. Looking to get past Fosu-Mensah. He has done, but the pass was poor. And Pogba can now drive United forward on perhaps another counter-attack goal. Finds Lingard, who wasn't really making a move, but just found space. There's Wan-Bissaka to the right of him, and he's found him down the right-hand side. Threads it through to Lingard, who looks to get through, and it's defended well. And Mitchell can now try and clear. He's dummied Lingard quite nicely twice now, and kicks it out for a throw as it deflects off the England international. Four minutes till the 90th minute, and then there'll be however many minutes of extra time. I can assume a considerable amount. But the throw from Palace is given straight to Pogba. Pogba to Fernandes. Matic threading it to Fosu-Mensah. Back to Matic. But leaves it for Maguire instead. Matic now. And Lindelof. Man of the match coming in 2.5 or 3.5 minutes. Pogba now. Rashford. Pogba. Lovely pass to Martial. Lingard now. Fernandes on the edge of the box on the left-hand side. Whips it in, but it's straight at Guaita, and he can catch that quite easily. He's looking for an option. He gets past Townsend really nicely and then tries a shot, but it is rather central. And Guaita hits it long, looking for Ayew. Schlups lost the header, and Matic can play a nice pass to Wan-Bissaka, albeit horizontally. Pogba. Maguire. Pogba. To Lindelof. Really good to see him orchestrating play. Wan-Bissaka. 11 minutes of stoppage time, apparently, which is more than against Southampton, in which United did concede in the penultimate minute of the game. Lingard to Pogba, looking to get past Riedewald. Wan-Bissaka to Pogba again. United making ground, albeit slowly, but they've lost it now. Fernandes' touch was poor, but Matic has done well again, and Fernandes can recover and play it to Pogba. No runners, really, but a good pass to Martial from Pogba. Now Lingard back to Fernandes. Rashford on the left-hand side scoops it to Fosu-Mensah. Lingard wins it, though, and Rashford's touch was poor, though. But can he win it back? He can't. It's going to be a throw to Palace just inside their half. Really poor touch from Rashford, you have to say. Might be worth resting either him or Martial. Obviously, Solskjaer has two more substitutions. Two more slots available to make substitutions, and 3 more available. The likes of Mata and James, Ighalo available to come on. Fred, Dalot and Bailly, should he want to make any defensive changes, but I doubt that will occur. Sakho now playing a decent pass to Mitchell. Can't find many options, so goes short to Riedewald. Back to Mitchell. Riedewald. United pressing. Lingard, obviously, one of those players. Oh, that's loose, and Zaha's through. Can he shoot? It's a great save from De Gea. Big save. Really big save. From nothing, really. So, straight pass, Matic misses it. Maguire doesn't get there, he's too tight to Zaha. And De Gea has to make a big save. It's Ward who loops it in. Maguire heads out. Was actually straight at him, David De Gea, so you would expect him to do that, but it's a big one nonetheless. Ayew in the edge of the box, whips one in, but it is quite wide. And that will be a goal kick to United. Let's have a look at that now. Zaha driving in. It's not straight at him, actually. He has to make a big save with his foot. You probably would back Zaha to maybe score that one, but De Gea does really well. And there are going to be 11 minutes to play. So I'll probably hold fire for another 5 minutes or so for the man of the match. Just because there's almost there's over 10 minutes left, so so much more could happen. But Milivojevic now on the ball, looking to get past Matic. He's found a decent pass to Townsend. It's now Ward to Milivojevic, but Ward didn't read that, and Fosu-Mensah can let that go. Fosu-Mensah's done really well, as I've said. Really, really well since this is his first game since a really long-term injury he suffered playing for Fulham last season. And while he came back to United, I think around April or May 2019, this is the first game he's actually played for the senior team for 3 years. So big day for him, and actually it's a big day for Dalot, really, who's not been chosen, who has actually played as a left back a few times under Solskjaer and under Mourinho, but opted against using him with Shaw and Williams unavailable. Long throw, in fact, finds Martial, who's done really well to juggle it past Milivojevic, and he threads it into Lingard, but the pass wasn't there. And Fernandes looks to get past Mitchell, who's done very well. And now Riedewald can look to bring Ayew forward, but Lindelof has... I think he won the ball, and he won a throw as well. He's done very well there. No real complaints from Ayew. And it's back to Matic. Pogba, who's fouled by Milivojevic, and that might be a yellow card because Graham Scott's decided to take his time in this, and he has booked Milivojevic. I think that's his 12th of the season. Obviously, he has to take a lot of tactical fouls for Palace, being that anchor and being the difference between potentially a goal and tactical foul at times. But Pogba now, Fernandes to Martial. He's got options on the other side. Rashford whips it in. And it's a good save from Guaita. Really nice first time finish from Rashford. But Guaita matched it with a really good acrobatic save. Was rather central, so you would probably back Guaita to save that with not too much pace on it. Rashford going more for precision. But it will be a corner to United. 8 minutes left. And it's Fernandes to whip it in towards Maguire. It's ballooned over again. He's appealing for a corner, but another corner, he's not going to get it. But it will be a goal kick to Palace now. And United still with their 2-goal leads. Palace creating chances still. So it's definitely not been a comfortable game. I don't think anyone predicted this would be a comfortable game. But United still winning. Martial now with some really good target man play, looking to get through Riedewald. But the Dutchman's done really well and can play it back to Guaita. And then Ward. And back to Guaita, who hits it long, looking for Joel Ward, but it goes out for a throw. United not looking for changes so far. Can't see anyone getting ready. But 4 minutes played of the extra time. And you have to say the one who's looked the best is Bruno Fernandes. And I think it's fair to say, regardless of the result, he is my man of the match. But Pogba's looked for a long pass towards Rashford. It's not found the Englishman, but it's now Townsend looking to... He's won the ball and played it to Mitchell. Sacco. Looks for a nice pass towards Riedewald, but couldn't quite get there, and Lindelof's won it. Fernandes now looking to get past Townsend, and does. It's Zaha tracking back, but he's found Rashford nonetheless. Nice pass to Martial. The Palace defence looks like it's tiring. Rashford tangling with Zaha, and it's going to be a foul United's way. Looked like Zaha's leg was all over Rashford's back, in fact. But, yeah, Rashford actually carries Zaha's leg. Zaha's not happy about that. And a couple handbags going in. Pogba trying to push Zaha away, with Martial actually trying to get involved, it would seem. After a few words with Rashford. But nonetheless, Man United will get that free kick. Few players warming up for United. I think it's James, Igalo and Mata, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be. But for the moment, United, four players in the box, 3 out, but Fernandes on the ball. He looks to go for himself, and it's side netting. Looked in from where I was seeing it. Looked in, but really close, really close. Throw into Palace. Looks like there will be a couple United players getting stripped. I think it's Dan James and Igalo who've come back from warming up. They might not come on overall, but have to see. Free kick United's way nonetheless. It's going to be Matic to take it. United happy to just waste a bit of time here. 97 minutes played. Rashford, Matic. Rashford, looking to drive through, finds Martial. Looking to get past Scott Dan, and he has. He's trying to thread it through, he's bundled around. It looked like it didn't cross the line. but it's Fosu Mensah now. Matic looking to find Fosu Mensah. That's a really good pass. Back to Lingard, but it's blocked. Pogba still has the ball after being pressed by 3 players. It's Lindelof to Fernandes, really deep, almost in line with the centre-backs. Matic, been really incisive with his passing. Wan-Bissaka, Lingard, Wan-Bissaka. Back to Lingard, Bruno. Pogba, Martial. Might fancy a shot. He's driving past Riedewald. He looked like he was tripped by Dan. No penalty given there. But now Palace can counter. It's Zaha. And it's a foul by Fernandes. And there will be a check on this. Martial looks to get past Riedewald, and he does well. It doesn't look like Dan got the ball first time, did he? He does get the touch, yep. That angle wasn't clear, but the other one did show it. That is really good from Scott Dan, who's obviously not got the pace to beat Martial, but his defensive awareness and experience in the Premier League has really shown just then. It's Mitchell now, but Wan-Bissaka does well, gets past him as well, and finds Fernandes, who can find Wan-Bissaka again, and does, but he's marked by a couple players. He's tries to get through Mitchell, but just put off by the youngster. But Matic has won that. It's Pogba now. Roulette past Ayew. Lingard. Pogba's down. Fernandes. Back to Lindelof. Matic. Maguire. Almost 100 minutes played. United should be comfortable, obviously, but Palace will still be looking for a chance. It is now Maguire, Pogba, back to Maguire. Those of you still watching, if you have any questions for me to answer post-match, I'm happy to oblige. Just write them down in the live chat and I'll get to you as soon as the game's over. But for the moment, Lingard going to be hungry for a goal, you'd have to say. Limited game time this season, especially since Fernandes has come in. But Rashford finds Martial down the left-hand side. Checks back, though. Lingard on the edge of the box. Pogba, 30 yards out. Looks for Fernandes. He slips. But Dan then plays it back to his goalkeeper, who hits it long. And actually finds a really good pass to Zaha, who's looked to get past Fosu Mensah. And Fosu Mensah has to track back there. He's put a foot in, and that's a clattering challenge from Matic, and he wins the ball. And Rashford looks to get past Dan, and that's a loose pass, and Guaita clears. And that looping kick was all the way to De Gea. And that is full time. And United will feel a little bit lucky that they didn't concede a penalty early in the game, but instead won the game and earned themselves a goal on the counter 2 minutes after, and then sealed the game with a brilliant finish from Martial with what you would have thought would have been 11 minutes to play, but in fact turned out to be 22 minutes to play after that injury to Van Aanholt as a result of Martial's finish. But question from Johnny, who is your man of the match for both teams? Man of the match for both teams. So overall, I think I have to say Bruno Fernandes, really, really crucial in the build-ups for both goals. Obviously got himself the assist, but you have to say the way he's been playing, he just has that composure and magnificence and mercurial talent that he's changed United. For Palace, probably say, you could say Zaha, because he's looked the most lively. Obviously was unlucky not to get an assist, and was probably Palace's best player throughout the game. So I'd probably say Zaha, but overall Bruno Fernandes. thank you very much for everyone listening. That's it from me today. We will be back, of course, as I said, on Sunday for the FA Cup semi-final. Before I head out, there's another question from Johnny. How good was De Gea from 1 out of 10? Say there were 3 saves he really had to make and a couple saves he should have made and did. I'd probably give him an 8.5 out of 10. If I'm being probably harsh, you'd have to say that was a vintage De Gea performance, and he's done really well today. He played well when he was needed, and against Palace, which has been a bit of a bogey team for him. But yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for me to discuss before the start of next game, comment below on this YouTube video, and I will get back to them on Sunday before the game starts. And until now, if you've enjoyed this, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Twitter for all of our content.